Hi, this is Burr Stewart, and welcome to another episode of Much Fun with Trains, which I also call Reality Model Railroading, as you'll see in this video today. As you remember, a few weeks ago, we started showing off an SD-24 pushing a cut of cars up a very steep hill, and even with the help of another SD-9, it couldn't do it. So I thought, what a great excuse for the power of an Alco C-636. So we ran that. It gave us a great excuse to run a train. And afterwards, I thought, well, we should survey all the engines that are parked around the turntable. And I'd give you a quick construction update of some really nasty stuff that's going on, but it will eventually be good. And if you prefer modern railroading, I've even got a surprise for you there. So let's get right into it. As you saw a second ago, the SD-24 and SD-9 lashed up together were still no match for the 5% grade, trying to push about 12 cars up that hill. And we tried it several times, as you've seen in some of my previous videos, without success. And I thought, oh, this is where we need an Alco C-636. This is a high horsepower brute with 6 axles, and I just loved watching it. And I know you do too. And so this gave us a chance to just run this engine light over to the scene of the problem, like a rescuer maybe, and to push those cars, see if the 3 engines could push those cars up the hill. So stay tuned and we'll see if it worked. Now, part of the reason that we're doing this is because the layout is mostly not in operation right now because I'm doing a large kitchen and bathroom remodel project in the house. So we're working on plumbing and electrical, and that interferes with the layout in the basement to some extent. And later in the video, I'll show you some of the damage that's being done, but all of it is recoverable. I'm very optimistic that we'll get back to, quote, normal, unquote, videos. But for the next couple of months, you're going to be seeing a variety of things here. And maybe it'll give me a chance to catch up on some of the great layout visits that I've had in the last couple of years, and I still haven't shown you. In any event, our Alco C-636 here is from the Spokane, Portland, and Seattle Railroad, which was jointly owned by the Great Northern and Northern Pacific, and was a big fan of Alco diesels in general. And these engines came over to the Burlington Northern merger in 1970, and as you see, if you look carefully, this one is lettered for the Burlington Northern. It just hasn't been repainted yet. Since I'm model 1973, that's fine. Here we're coming along Carkeek Park past Seaview Avenue Northwest, which is where the Ballard Locks are, if you're familiar with Seattle. And a few minutes later, we're coming into the town of Mukilteo. And I have condensed Everett and Mukilteo down to where the Everett Junction switch is on the left mainline track here. And this engine will have to stop and flip that switch. Now, actually, I don't know if that was a dispatcher-controlled switch or whether the crew would have to get out and turn it. But in this case, we're going to have to come to a stop and flip the switch and then take what's called the high line up to the Everett Delta Yard. And as you know, toot toots means we're moving forward now. Isn't that a nice rotating beacon? This is a Bowser model, as many of you probably know. Plastic, but very nicely detailed. Now you get a glimpse of our 2 struggling locomotives, the SD-24 and the SD-9, up on the hill there with a cut of about 12 cars, and you can see it's a very steep grade. It's 5% there because I originally was going to make this a model of the Japanese Gulch grade up to Boeing's Painfield aircraft manufacturing plant, but then I found out that the track actually went the other direction, so I used a different spur for the Boeing jet job, and I repurposed this particular spur for the Woodinville branch. Three toots means we're backing up. This was originally Bill Sorensen's idea, and I appreciate it very much. The only problem is that in order to take trains up to Woodinville, we have to climb a 5% grade. And normally we only take about 4 cars up there at a time for that reason. Whoops, look what happened there. This engine is so long that it caught on the rock cliff there. So we'll have to do a little bit more surgery on that rock so that we can get the larger engines up there. Bang! Not that they would have used these large engines on the Woodinville branch. That's kind of another story. So I've got the third engine set up in the consist now. We're controlling them all together. So all 3 of these engines are powered at the same time. And we're going to see if we can shove the train up this hill. After 2 or 3 failures, all of which have been well documented on this channel previously. I wanted to let you enjoy these sounds too. It looks like that's what we needed, just a little more horsepower. We're not really having any trouble anymore. I'm so glad. I got a little frustrated with every time we tried to get it up the hill, it couldn't do it. The only reason we're taking these cars up the hill is to get them out of the way for the construction on the house. It's reality model railroading. Very nice. Now we'll look at the details of the front end there and enjoy the idling sound of the Alco diesel. Oh, what a beautiful engine. You notice the knife ridge that this track is on to the right. That's the main line, but I have staging tracks underneath it and this Woodinville branch. It's a very complicated piece of layout design right here. Forget about those narrow gauge pieces of flex track on the side. We'll fix that eventually. Now in the distance you can see our 12 cars all lined up in the Woodinville branch. So now that we've overdosed on watching an Alco C-636, I thought I would just peruse the engines that are in the Everett engine house. And we've got several Alcos. Those are RS-11s. And a couple of RS-3s. Those are beautiful Northern Pacific engines, which you've seen in some earlier videos on my channel here. And of course, that's one of the new Rapido E6s, I believe it is, from the CB&Q, the Burlington Route, which of course was merged into the Burlington Northern as well. That engine wouldn't probably be painted like that in 1973, but we enjoy using that on our passenger trains. And this is a re-lettered Northern Pacific switcher, number 187, which has a correct BN number, and that was done by Tim Taylor. I really appreciate his work. Both of those, I believe, are Rapido switchers. No, let's not say that. But anyway, there's the lineup. And of course, there's the scale test car, which is fun to run once in a while. We'll have to do a video about that someday. Now this turntable roundhouse area, as you can see, isn't really completed yet. But we also have a caboose track. And Because my wife and I really enjoy swing dancing, swing music in general, big bands, I have a swing dance scene set up here. And one of these days I'll get a proximity activated recording of a big band sound, so whenever you're near this scene you'll enjoy the music as well. This is just a stand-in station. There wasn't actually a station at this spot, but details really help a layout. As you can see here, you've got a woman with 2 children meeting the dad who just came back from a trip. So on to a brief construction update. You can see that in order to fix the plumbing in the kitchen, they had to get through a crawl space entryway that was above the layout. So they built a platform and went in there and did the work. And I took advantage of the opportunity to cut off this now abandoned downspout. And they put a cap on it, which is quite close to the track. So I'll have to vacuum all that up and then see about maybe shifting the track slightly. But we'll be sure to show you that. And then on the other side, we found out that the main water shutoff to the house doesn't work. So we're going to replace this valve. And in order to do that, we took the bridge over the Skagit River out temporarily. And you can see it's not there anymore. And if you've watched my channel, you're familiar with seeing trains go across this double bridge. And I look forward to having all this back in service eventually. Anyway, this is what I mean by reality model railroading. Once in a while, you have to take out what you've done and rebuild it. And it's nice to make the scenery removable. As you can see, I did here. These tracks were all hidden by various types of scenery and backdrop extensions. And in the backtrack there is a sky blue cover to sort of hide the trains. And then, of course, all that is the junk that I have parked away from the main yard to get it out of the way, out of danger. So finally, for those of you who like modern engines, look what just showed up. It's a new Athearn Genesis GP-39-2u. And I thought it would be good to have a smaller horsepower engine to do some switching when we're running modern engines, which, as you know, we do quite often, even though we're trying to model 1973 here. There's nothing wrong with modern equipment. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of what's been going on lately. It's a little scary with the construction, but I'm glad that it gave us an opportunity to really dwell on this Alco C-636. And I hope in the future we'll do more with these engines, as well as many of the other engines that you saw in today's video. So for now, this is Burr Stewart, wishing you much fun with trains.